Hi everybody, welcome to your daily reading. Today's reading is for Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. Yay! Before I begin, thank you so much again for all of you guys who are donating and ordering personal readings. Mwah. Thank you. As you guys know, I see everything and I don't miss anything, so thank you so much. I'm seeing your comments and all of that. It really means a lot to me. So let's jump right in because you guys know I like to just get into it. Guys, oh my gosh, guys. First of all, Spirit is so great. I love God. I can't. I just can't, right? And today is just an example of how it's just so amazing how things tie in. So remember yesterday, if you watched my daily reading yesterday, I during the reading I got my new cards delivered. They're amazing. These ones, first of all, I love Colette Baron-Reid. She's been holding it down for a long time. Definitely love her. And I love how she's made her personal journey, her personal healing journey so open and accessible to people along her career. And it's just been great. Anyway, these cards, I mean, she's outdone herself. Amazing. You guys may know San Tarot. I love her. She's a great, amazing reader. She's also, I believe she's friends with Adelina Bond, who does Mana Tarot, the Mana channel. I think she's taking a break right now. A lot of things are going on for her, so let's send her a lot of love and a lot of light. Because, sometimes, but for the grace of God, there go I, right? There go we. But anyway, San Tarot uses these cards, and I love them. And so I finally bought them, and they are so powerful, they're so authoritative, they're just so whimsical, but in a very wise, ancient way. You know what? Anyway, you guys know I like to keep the spread open for you to also do your own stuff. But Colette Baron-Reid does a lot of work with elementals as well, and a lot of those ancient spirits of the earth and so animals. She's just great. Anyway, she's outdone herself. I'm fanning out a little bit, fangirling. All right, so let's continue. What I love about today's reading, I haven't even looked at the cards yet. What I love about today's reading is because I felt the magic already. These cards have a certain sense of magic to them. And so I knew that I didn't really even need a whole bunch of them. I was just going to use 3. And when I went to put the first one, I just had this feeling, you know what? I'm going to put them upside down today and just reveal them and enjoy them. And so I put the first one upside down, and then as I was shuffling to get the other 3, they threw themselves out right side up, and so I knew, okay, all right guys, let's put you down right side up. And then the next card that wanted to come in, because I was done, but there's a card that wanted to come in. If you see the White Raven Spirit, the energy coming off of this card at this time is very protective. He's very authoritative. He also has a very stubborn energy that I'm feeling, but it's like, I'm protecting this. So it's like I'm willing to see it. I'm trying to talk and I'm hearing the words, I'm ancient. He's ancient. Oh, God bless him. Okay, see? Let's pull him up a little bit. God bless. Very authoritative. Very leadery. Like he's a leader. Very, 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 very authoritative. And he's saying, I'm ancient. And he's saying that that's why he has to protect whatever is under here, right? And I feel like this may be a younger spirit of some sort or some kind of protection. Now, that message that I'm just saying that he's already coming through with about himself, I'm feeling is also applying to someone out there. Someone watching has a young child, and he's saying that like he's protecting this kind of energy, you need to be protecting that energy as well. So whatever's going on in your life with that young child, whether you're not able to put nutritious food on the table, or whether there are influences, you're dating somebody who isn't a good influence around this child, whatever it is, he's coming out to you already and saying that you have to kind of and I'm hearing flog them in return. Now, I don't know if he's saying flog your child. I don't know. Maybe this is a message for somebody else, or it could be the same if it applies. But I'm hearing flog them in return. In whatever that means for you, okay? Remember, these messages are... And I'm hearing him also say the archdiocese is coming. Okay, so that means something for someone as well. the archdiocese. Did I say is coming, are coming? See, that it's purely channeling, so I can't even remember what I just said. So these messages are for some people, and you'll know what they are. So he's also coming through acknowledging that he's a messenger. Notice how my hand's going to the right. I just noticed, I'm like, why am I tipping? Because these are story progressions. Those might have been 3 different stories. He's a messenger, he's saying, born to lead, born to succeed. Now he's going on to somebody else here. I'm feeling a young black male here who may be watching this video. He's saying born to lead, born to succeed. Do it. That's for you. But of course, you guys know if it also touches you in a certain way, then feel free. Now he's bringing me back here and the energy's changing. It's for somebody related to a piano. It's very lyrical. There's somebody, a young person, maybe a young male. But again, if it resonates for you, it is also for you. He's watching you succeed. He's watching you play the piano. He's watching you have the pains of your life and or in your life and whatnot. And he's saying you are a composer. Whether or not people tell you that, whether or not you've been given the chance to show your compositions or given a chance to be acknowledged as a composer, you are a composer. And I heard one day somebody said, if you take out a napkin and start writing on it, you're a writer. They're saying, so I subscribe to that kind of thinking, that if you have the dream and you have the desire and whatever, that's what you are. So you have to embrace that. Okay, so they're saying to keep going. Thank you. So he's saying, look how he protects. He not only protects the energies of people, until they're ready to be able to individuate, be safe enough to protect themselves, just like mothers and children, but he also protects the dreams of people, and he gives messages. So far he's protected. He's showing us protecting. He's given messages to somebody here to protect. Actually, all of you, to protect your dreams, protect your children. He talks about being a leader as well. Look at who he's talking to. You guys are leaders. You're a leader when it comes to that music, and a leader when it comes to being who you are, that young black male. I do feel an inner city connection there. So if something very urban, you're a leader in that space. You're a leader, Mom. And so he also talks about messages. He came to give the messages. He also talks about being stubborn. These people have to be stubborn in their art, stubborn in their protection, because it's just needed. Wow, really cold. I'm getting a little congested here. Oh yeah, as many of my friends keep saying, put your sweater on. All right, jeez. But it's my own house. I want to put the heat on. Whatever. Anyway, let's continue. I'll try not to get congested audibly over this call. Thank you, Spirit, for coming through. Now, take a look at these beautiful cards. Another reason why this spread is so magical, and I love it, and Spirit is showing up and showing out today, is because notice that our beautiful White Raven Spirit says trust in the magic. He's also saying that to me because part of me was like, gosh, these other tarot readers, they're so good, and San Tarot, and how are they looking at these animals on there and coming up with all these, transcendental, high vibe messages. And now I see he's saying trust in the magic, because I'm using these cards and I'm realizing that, part of what I'm seeing and perceiving to be a skill in someone else that I could never have, I'm seeing that these cards themselves are carrying such a high vibe encoding, that what I'm looking out and attributing to everybody else, and using, very important here, using that story that I made up about other people to put myself down and to see myself in a lower place of performance and success and ability. He's like, dude, we came with these energies, and yes, every reader lends something, and yes, every reader comes with a certain ability to be receptive to the amount of energy and messages that we're giving. But they're saying that they also come with high vibe messages, and they come with their own energies. And so you guys, this is also a message to you out there. Trust in the magic. Don't bar yourself from believing that you can do certain things, because in that case, it's kind of like an arrogant thing, because you're having this belief that you are the end all and be all, and it's your interaction with something that makes the product, right? When in reality, it's not. You're just a small part of that, and other people and other things bring their own energy to create whatever it is that you're seeing outside of yourself. Balance. It's balance. So that's why they say being too worried or over obsessed with yourself and your issues and your problems are sometimes an act of arrogance and selfishness. It's like, get out of your head, get out of your way. It's ego, right? And so allow other energies to come in, trust in the magic, and know that you can interact with everything in your world, and you can bring your own magic to it, and you can unlock different things in your world that other people may not be able to because they don't carry your frequency, all right? So have some confidence. Look at him already being that cheerleader. Get it, White Raven Spirit? Yeah, his head, he was just like, his head just propped up a little bit higher. He's so funny. I wish you guys could feel that energy. All right, so anyway, so look, he's saying trust in the magic. And so I said, okay, cool. Excuse me. And then I did these. Look, trust a great mystery. I was like, oh my God, yes. God was just talking about mystery with us the other day. So I was already delving into mystery earlier in this reading when I put that first card down and I was playing with it, knowing that I didn't know what it was and knowing that I would reveal it here on camera and enjoy it and discover it together. And I was okay with that. I was okay having a mystery. Whale Spirit came in to talk about that. And when he came in, as my fourth card that I laid, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to lay the next few cards, my beautiful unicorn cards, upside down to kind of see where that goes with us. And then the next card, the last card, when I ran out of space, I just felt like, okay, let me get 3 more cards. So I did one, excuse me. I did the other, just trusting the formation and the spread as well. And I thought, okay, the third card, I will put up right side up as a theme. What card comes out? Magic. All right, so magic is all over this this reading. When I say magic, I'm not talking about, magic and black magic and this and that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the magic that exists, the fecundity, the fertility, the magic of mystery, the magic of that spirit. And it's funny, they just reminded me because when I was laying the cards, I do cards like this. They're upside down, and then but I can feel the energy. And when I was going to lay this card, I felt, indomitable, and boom, the card that came out, I was like, indomitable energy, I love it. The card that came out was this mystery card. If you guys remember, the title that Spirit used the other day for that mystery daily reading was something like have an indomitable spirit in mystery or something like that. And so there's that connection. So please know when I entitle my my readings, it's really Spirit coming through with those messages. I think someone had left a comment, and I'm behind in my comments, but someone had left a comment about, I think, the Scorpio reading and felt like it was like the title was misleading to get more views. And I've been meaning to respond, but you guys know, your girl's kind of busy, right? Let me show my watch. And so to be honest, I'm not necessarily 100% responsible for the titles that come through. So comments like that, I'm usually in between my mind whether or not to respond to, because it's kind of like there's no reason on one hand because I'm not the creative process is something that I allow God to come through with. And as you could see here, that same reading that they entitled earlier about the indomitable spirit is an example. Look how they're using it in a future reading. So that's kind of an answer if ever you guys are like, why is this entitled this? That's an invitation to inquiry, to kind of go in. So remember, it's not always about the mystery revealing, having the burden of revealing itself to you. It's about you seeing a mystery and knowing that you engage with mystery by trying to find out excuse me, why it is that way. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said seek first to understand, or something like that, before you seek to be understood, something to that effect. Basically, focus on trying to understand something, because when you don't, there's always this idea that it could become a little bit egoic, where you believe that you have fully understood it, and so therefore you ask that person or that place or that thing to reveal itself to you. It's like the burden of proof is not on somebody else to prove themselves to you, it's on you to try to understand. And as I'm saying that, I'm feeling that also being let's say a tenet, so to speak, or a principle that can apply in our daily lives. Sometimes we see a lot of people in their sacred curriculum struggling with issues like having people who are homosexual or transgender or non-binary, conforming, and things like that. And to you, it may be like, what is that? Like, you need to explain yourself, and you need to... But actually, no, the burden of proof is not on this person, because this person is being themselves. It is about you trying to grow and understand what it is that you're looking at, because as you grow and you come to mystery with that kind of inquiry, it's a level of maturity, and it speaks to us. It speaks to our maturity, because it means that we understand we don't know everything. As a saying, there was a saying, I hope I'm not botching it: the man who knows everything knows that he knows nothing at all, right? And that means even me knowing that these things that come through me, I don't know, guys. I actually go back and look at these readings later, because I'm in the group with you guys learning as well. And I don't want to miss messages that come through. And I know doing the message, I'm getting a lot of information. But when I go back, I watch it, I get information in a different way. And I watch it again later, it comes and hits me in a different way. So long story short, now let's bring that to a higher level and notice how God works in many ways. The same comment that I'm referring to, the one that was left in the Scorpio, I think it's the Scorpio reading, right? That person on this level, we could be like, why are you, but actually when you look at a higher level, even that person on their comment is used by God. And we could even say, thank you, God, for bringing that comment into our lives, so that you can later address it. And, God, you can later address it, and we can learn, and we can. And once we start to see the higher purpose of comments like those, that's when we are able to release the person who left a comment, and the person who felt moved in that very moment, probably even moved by God and not even knowing it, right? But moved in that very moment to leave a message that God would later use to liberate all of us. And if we know that God uses each of us to teach each other, then we have to understand, as A Course in Miracles teaches, that everybody is innocent. Okay, I know you're like, what? How could that guy who killed 10 kids and, everybody is innocent when you look at it from a higher perspective. And so sometimes from where you are, you just can't see that high. But we must try to always evolve ourselves and grow to get to the place where we can witness the beauty at a higher level. And that's all there is to it. Because look how in a 5-minute conversation, the energy has been transmuted around that already. We've learned a lesson here. God has connected us to some deeper understandings, and so we have to understand that we are always teaching ourselves, because we are the collective that we can call all that is, all our spirits and the trees and all that. Everyone is just a part of us, and we are part of them, and we are just teaching ourselves. And so when we realize that everybody is blameless on some level, and we cannot judge, because we never know who is coming as our next teacher, and that's just how it is. So I haven't even looked at the cards yet, but this is all part of the reading, guys. So if you're like, when we start in the reading, then you're definitely missing. Go back to the beginning, rewind. God bless. Now, as I was saying, thank you, Spirit, for coming through in your blessed narrative style. So as I was saying, I laid this card, and this concept of magic is just all over. Magic and mystery. I'm feeling it. Now, I always believe that no matter how many cards I throw, I'm always like I threw 3 and one felt like it needed to come in, so 4, and I always hit a kicker. I always believe in doing a kicker, which is at the bottom of the deck. And that's the bottom of the deck card it came. This is the bottom of the deck card it came, because look at it. It usually shows like that energy that is underlying it all. But often when you put the kicker out there at the bottom of the deck, it leaves another card at the bottom of the deck, and that I often have off to the side. You don't see it, but they're here. So sometimes when I'm like, oh, this card wants to come in, it's because I knew that card would somehow come in later, so it's ready and waiting. Check this one out. Look at what it says. open to infinite possibility, starfish, spirit. This is magic right here. Spirit is saying this card controls the whole reading, because Spirit is saying that when you engage with mystery and you have this beautiful give and take with it, where you know that you don't know everything and you can't, and you trust Spirit and you trust the unknown, because the unknown pulls us forward, keeps us going. But it also asks us to be excuse me, out of this codependent space where we're like having this, nefarious, I'm going to say, this toxic relationship with Spirit, where we must find out, and like it's just easy, like yin yang, right? And they're saying that when you are functioning properly, you understand that mystery is necessary and you need it. It is the dark to your light, the light to your dark. It plays both roles. It is your active and your passive, and your passive and your active, right? It's a cycle in and of itself. Excuse me. Moving between what is known and then unknown. The mystery itself changes as you look at it and as you interact with it. And so because we have that beautiful duality within that singularity, so to speak, we know that there's always this concept of infinite possibility, because it's kind of like that Schrodinger's cat situation where and yes, please watch me somehow botch the explanation, the details of the experiment, but basically there was a cat locked in a box somewhere. Go look it up, Google that. And Schrodinger's cat, and before, for whatever amount of time, and the idea is by the end of the time that they had allotted, the question was, is the cat still alive or is it not? And in that one moment, there were two possibilities. This little homie could either have passed, or he's still alive in the box. And the point of the Schrodinger's cat, or the takeaway that a lot of people use from Schrodinger's cat experiment, is that there comes a point in time where both possibilities exist. And that has far-reaching implications about reality and this and that, but we don't need to delve that deeply. It's just about knowing that in that moment, just like in the present moment, which is always the only moment there is, so in that present moment, it was possible that the cat was still alive, and it was possible that the cat had not, that had perished. And so that in itself leads to two different realities, which of course can branch off and blah, blah, blah. So if we know that mystery is just what is, we also know that it must carry this sister spirit or brother spirit or other implication of possibility. And if there is so much that is possible because mystery exists, why is it, and this is where we start to turn this inquiry inward, why is it, mystery is such a great teacher, geez, why is it that we choose to believe the negative possibilities for ourselves? I'm such a loser, I'm not good enough, if I were good enough, this person would have trusted me and taken me back, or whatever it is. Why is it that we choose to see doors closed? I'll never get this promotion. Maybe I should just stay in this job, because if I try to get another job, I might lose both. Why is it that we can't look to the positive instead and see that not only is there mystery, but there's necessarily possibility in the mystery, because we don't know? Then we understand it's about choice, and we could choose. And when we start getting into choosing in the present moment how to view the possibility within a mystery that we just don't know about, that's when we start to think about issues like manifestation and self-empowerment and our ability to manifest using our personal skills, using our hopes and dreams, using our intuition, things like that. And when you start working with manifestation, it naturally brings you to this idea that you have to take care of your mood. Hold on a sec, let me pause. One notebook, one pen. Okay, so I took literally 3 minutes to make a quick diagram, because I wanted to make sure that I'm, and remember I'm channeling heavily, so I hope I didn't miss any steps, but I wanted to make a quick diagram very crudely to kind of see where we're going so we can continue. Anyway, so you're here and there is this mystery that we interact with all the time. It means that there are things that we just don't know. And when we understand and we accept that there are things that we don't know, we can't know, and we also accept that those things are necessary to keep us going and evolving as an individual and as a collective, we come to accept and trust the unknown. We have to. And in so doing, we also, when we're comfortable with the unknown, we understand that it's rife with possibility. Because if I don't know whether that cat's alive or dead, then I am free to create any ideas about the future and about myself that I want. Right? If I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, I can create any ideas about what it is that I want. There's my potential to choose based on my vision. Let's go ahead and ask. I almost said ask. Let's add that based on perspective. And we know that perspective is based on perception. So we talked about this earlier, right? So you must need to, this is me trying to channel and write and think. Sorry, guys. So if there's a potential to choose, we know that when we come to this open potential, we have to have a perspective that is there, that can help us, right? We rely on our perspective, and perspective is based on our perception of what's going on. So we talked about that. God talked about that in an earlier call that we had a few days ago about perception and discernment. It's under the discernment one. And so if we know that we have this potential to choose, then why is it that we often choose the negative to view ourselves and our world, right? And our interaction with the world? We can start using the positive, right? And once we start having those ideas, we're coming into the realm of manifestation. And we know that when we start dealing with manifestation, we have to check our mood, because our mood, if we come to anything with a negative feeling, with sadness, with this and that, with the defeatist attitude, the mood is too low. And it's with that mood that if we go and we interact with mystery and we view mystery, like, is this relationship going to happen for me? Is this job going to pan out? If we come from a negative mind state, guess what's going to happen? We're not going to see our potential as being something beautiful. We're not going to let the magic in. We're not going to, right, allow ourselves to dream. And we don't realize, but check this out, when we start considering this manifestation issue, we need to check our mood because it's going to just lead to actual manifestation. All right? In the physical. Sorry, guys. This is very, very crude. And it annoys me as well, because I like to have things properly done, but I'm not going to sit here and type and all this, because also I want you to see that we don't need anything besides pen and paper to work stuff out, right? We saw that here. And so this is a diagram to show that whatever it is that's going on in our lives, we have to understand that we have questions about it, and it's the unknown that is plaguing us. But we have to trust in the universe, we have to trust in ourselves, we have to work our side, bring balance, work our side by focusing on our core wounds, understanding what we're bringing to the table in terms of perception and perspective. And we have to allow God to work, because look, God is the one working. I've come and I've said, okay, God, thank you so much for this ability that you've given me, and now I want to serve you and work with you to help everybody. And so I come to you knowing that I don't know what's going on, but I trust you, and I do my job, which is to show up and to remain open to what it is that you want to bring through without question. Because when I start to question and I'm like, what are they talking about? I would not be able to receive this kind of information, because I would question it all the time. What do you mean put the cards upside down? Right? So I'm curious, guys, to see what cards come through. And for spirit. And then they're saying an abandonment. They're like, what abandonment? They're saying you are never abandoned. That, they say, is the biggest lie in all of eternity, that we walk around feeling like somebody has abandoned us when we were never abandoned to begin with. So if you were never abandoned to begin with, how can you actually know what real abandonment means? It's kind of like a kid. We all know this. We all hear stories. Some of us were this kid. You grow up in a lap of luxury. Your mom and dad, they're stable. They give you things. You don't really know what true poverty is, but yet you speak of deprivation, right? Like, oh my God, why can't I have the new iPad? Why do I always get clothes for Christmas? Like, really, everyone else is getting this and a PS4, and I'm so deprived. I hate you, mom and dad. Storm off, close the door, sit down with their Switch and Steam, be steamy and be mad while they're playing with their Nintendo Switch. It's like, dude, you don't know what deprivation is because you've never been deprived. And that's what Spirit is saying to us as well. I'm currently working through abandonment issues and codependency and stuff, so I understand the struggle. And Spirit is coming through in this card that was off camera. It's the only thing I saw was the T and kind of this tail end. They were like abandonment. And so they're trying to show this energy here. Thank you, Chameleon Spirit, for helping. He's like, and he walks off. Oh my God. Their personalities. So funny. But Spirit is saying that we have never been abandoned. Just like we have never, ever, 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 ever been in a state of not being loved. Just like you, my dears, have never, ever, ever been on this earthly plane without guides and spirits constantly talking in your ear to tell you stuff and push you forward. So if you've never known a state of abandonment and being unloved and being deprived, that leaves only one conclusion. You made all that stuff up. Okay, we made all of that up. We made up, in our experience, we've made up the idea that we're not loved because homeboy left us. We made up the idea that we are poor in spirit because we have no money. We made up the idea that we are terrible people because we do bad things sometimes or negative things. When in actuality, this is why I always bring it up back to A Course in Miracles. They teach this. In actuality, the only thing that's real is love. Anything else that you see, fear, abandonment, rejection, lies, this and that, it's not real. These are all within the realm of storytelling. We are and continue to be the greatest storytellers ever alive. But the problem is that we've started to believe our own stories. And so what you see is us consistently, lifetime after lifetime, coming in and creating more stories, but trying to release ourselves from these stories. That's all they're trying to do, right? That's all we're trying to do. And so when God is intercepting here in these readings, they're trying to bring you to this place of 0-point gravity where you can stop with the storytelling, get on board and see yourself as just this unmoving thing that is just there. And anything, if you move a little bit, it creates a, you move. Every action that you take is creating more and more storytelling. And the reason why is because you are making up a story about that action that you took. If you're going to go get your coffee or whatever is you're drinking, can you get it without it meaning something? Oh, my favorite cup. Oh my God, this and that. Oh, it's blue and then, oh my God. Oh, I hope my tea's not cold. Right? All of those are stories that you're telling when the truth is that you're just interacting with a cup. And when you get deep into philosophy and such and really meditate and takes you into musings, you realize there is no cup. Even the cup is a story. And when you get to that point where you can see that and it makes sense, it takes you to my mind, the image that I'm getting you. You're always getting from here with all the stories down to here where you're like, oh shoot, there is no cup. Because this idea of cup that I've always thought, what is a cup? A cup already comes, if you can name it, then it's no longer what it is, because the very definition of a cup differs by culture, differs by person, differs based on interactions you've had with quote-unquote cup. So the fact that you can name it and then touch it, dear God, it's an advanced idea. It's an advanced manifestation of an idea. So when you get to that 0 point, you start to realize there is no cup. And that in itself thrusts you into another inquiry where it's like, right? No words. It's all just, and this mystery is for you to experience. and to come into once you get yourself to here. So where are we? Spirit is saying we're out here. My sweater, no! Okay? We're out there. So they're trying to bring us here and to release us from the stories that we tell ourselves and the many, many manifestations. These even look like planets. There's star systems, oh God. Galaxies, oh God. It just gets bigger and bigger. Universes. You get my point. So the many, many manifesting realities that pop up from this one, motion. Some people say there was first thought, or there was first word, or whatever, and it gave birth to all sorts of stuff. That's kind of like what we're seeing here. So if you are the one giving birth, if you are God, so to speak, if you are all that is, if you are, right, fractally speaking, we are ourselves and we are everything at the same time, right? But if you are that, then you have to see, Spirit is saying, thank you, see, they always bring it back around, that on the most grandest of scales, there is mystery. So you are always interacting with this idea of mystery in your daily life. Oh my God, what am I going to wear tomorrow? Oh my God, my boss called me into the office. What's he going to say? What's she going to say? Oh, is this person ever going to come back? Am I going to be successful in this career? All the way to the most highest of reaches where there are no words. There, we can even question the senses that we come to know as human beings, because we have different senses and sensory organs than other things, let's say other emanations from spirit, right? Plants, organisms, species, whatever. All of that, like what is over here, we don't know. And so when we start to have that kind of awareness and that macroscopic, and we can go from the macroscopic to the microscopic, we understand that we don't know anything. So it carries with it so many implications. Now, the way I use that in my readings is this. Personally, I used it to, unknowingly, but I used it as a way to quell my insecurities. Because, as I said, I think to someone in the comments, at the end of the day, we're just pulling stuff out of thin air as far as we're seeing. When I put this out, I'm just like, I feel vulnerable because I'm opening myself up to people being like, WTF, what's the name of that you're smoking and how can I get some? Or like, oh, you're completely wrong, and this and that. Sometimes things people say, we are not able to see, so it seems wrong, right? And sometimes, maybe the person is wrong. Right? We don't know what's right, what's wrong, because we don't know the purpose of anything that we encounter. Another thing, another tenet in the Course in Miracles. Guys, get on that book, all right? But that being said, what I use in my readings is this. I say to myself, I don't know anything. And if I don't know anything, I just have to trust what's coming through me. And I wait for the feedback from that. But in and of itself, it came through me. So as much as I get feedback from other people, I also understand that they have come into a mystery and they may not even fully understand it yet. And so that being said, am I wrong? Is this person wrong? Right? And so with that, I release myself. Oh, look at the card that's off screen, death. I released myself from all of these ideas and I walk into the unknown. I do the reading, I pull the cards and I let them fall where they are. And from there, I seek to understand what it is that has come through. And that's all there is to it. On top of that, on a practical level, I also tell myself that, you know what? I love to use cards, but I don't need to use cards. I can sit down and use my hands. I can get a photograph and I can use it. I can just make dots somewhere and try to read that because I know that the energy is all here and it's going to act upon anything it wants to act upon. I just need to feel what I feel comfortable with. I like using pictures. It's fun. I go with the cards. In another minute, I could use, pen and paper and it can reveal mysteries that can come through cards. It's just energy. It's here. You choose how you want to interact with it. Some people don't want to work with cards and stuff. They're like, that's the devil. That's their choice. Perception all over again. But they'll go and they'll take the same message from a friend sitting in at a kitchen table and having a hot beverage. It doesn't matter where the message comes from, right? It's just the point of receiving the message and working with that. that being said, I believe in spreads because I love spreads. They help, right? But sometimes I know that it just as much as a spread can be amazingly helpful. I also know I can be walking and going to spread this and I trip and everything falls and I'm like, oh, don't touch anything. The story, it's coming alive, right? So I know again that there are, like when spirit is really flowing, they don't mince words. They don't mince actions either. Like that's why you once I press play on this reading, this camera, I know everything is fair game. Even that brambling story I just told about, for example, finding a random needle under my bed and like thinking, oh my God, I almost died. That comes into the reading. There's a reason I'm bringing that through. To me, I don't realize it. I'm just like, okay, I feel stupid. I just mentioned a story that was dumb. And I try to take it down. I'm like, let me forget about that. And I don't know, somebody out there needed to hear that because maybe they just had an encounter with a needle of some sort and it touched them and they're like, oh my God, this message is for me, or it gives somebody the epiphany that they need. So we don't know when we're really acting in a way that is helping other people, which brings us back to another thing. Just be yourself. Okay? Be yourself, because you are on a mission and you have things that you need to be in order to inspire and be where you need to be. You are always acting and you are always creating. But anyway, guys, this is a rabbit hole we can go down. But this is my point. God is coming through today to talk about magic and mystery, and it's all over the cards. So if we know that all things are possible, we know that we are truly, truly the masters of our own reality. We are indomitable in the spirit of mystery, in the face of mystery, right? And so when you look at your reality, let's take a moment and start looking at it in another way, right? The way is up to you. So that being said, I should be like, let's never turn these cards over, but guys, I like to know. But before we go there, do I need to talk about these? What is this? These came in and I don't know how to talk about that as yet. Let's go here. And let's see what's under here. Cute. Aw, they want a hug. I'm feeling the energy. I was like, whoa, I almost got a paper cut. What they're saying so far already is the bird and the fish, they're working together, as above, so below, they're saying. Look at this, 66:36. They're together. And they came together to teach this lesson, right? Aw, thank you. Birds way up in the sky, fish deep in the oceans, right? There is always enough. Trust in the magic. We know that as we trust in the magic, we saw this. We saw following this white raven spirit's message, an invitation into the unknown. We see that all is possible, right? And koi fish spirit, God bless him, super cute, comes in and says, I am also ancient, right? I am not as young as people would say. We actually work together, right? And yin and yang, up and down, in, out, they are the same in that sense. Just different perspectives, he's saying. And he's saying that he's saying, if you look in your holy Bible even, then you would behold this kind of message about the unknown. And guys, listen, I have no idea, so this is definitely them coming through, because they're saying there is also this idea of this unknown. It's written all over the pages. They're saying if you were to adopt a spirit, a holy manifested spirit of coming to these sacred texts as truly trying to understand and never even speak of it to other people, you can probably come close to understanding that energy. They're pointing here, that energy which underlies these texts of the Tao and Quran and all of these things. They're saying if you can interact with these sacred texts, they're encoded, but if you can interact in a way where you're interacting without ever having the intention of connecting with other people to discuss it and to communicate what you're seeing and this and that, you can follow that path into here, because they're reminding us that thing which that can be expressed is not the real thing. That is the first tenet, the first rule, the first verse of the Tao Te Ching, right? And Taoism, right? And so look at that. Because you know that the minute you try to talk about it, it's no longer it as it truly is. And so even these words that we're using, this word of mystery and even these words and these images, and guys, we know that kind of inquiry is silent. It's quiet, it's experiential, it's going within, it's transcending this human mind to become more expansive, to get to a place where you can come to possibly get closer to having that experience of that truth. And that's why, when some people have such a profound experience, they have no words to explain it. Sometimes we experience things and we know that to even try to explain it to other people would be useless. Not only would it null and void the feeling, but it wouldn't even come close to explaining what that feels like. We feel that kind of every day a bit when we talk about having children. You could never know what it feels like to be married. That's why we have a lot of people as mistresses and as male mistresses, I don't know, on the outside, they've never been married. They don't understand. They don't understand what it means to work with somebody else at that level and to build, right? Just like a lot of people don't understand what it means to be like a third person, wanting so much to belong, and right? And if we could only get in the same room and realize these are just experiences, we can't, right? Also, have you ever been like in a love relationship, male, female, doesn't matter, but maybe it's a woman, and you're just talking and there's so much is happening, like, oh my God, girl, I spoke to him yesterday and blah, 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 and then he texted me later that night, and then the next morning I woke up and I saw this on TV, and then maybe, like, so many things are happening around this thing that if you miss a day of talking to your friend, or 2 days, so much has happened that it's like, you're like, I can't even get into it with you because you know why? It's such such profundity. Things have happened so much that you kind of like, you know what? You start to realize in the retelling of this situation to your friend, you leave out details. They're important details, but it's just too much to go into. So my point is that Spirit is saying that when we really delve into things, it's quiet in its personal inquiry, its personal journey. It has to be. So if you are talking and talking and talking and talking, much as I am right now, but they're also acknowledging that when we are here, we have to have that dialogue. But when you really go and you really get close to that thing, you notice how less you interact with other people. That's why we know that these great masters out there, they wander the forests, they become ascetic, they're somewhere, and they're quiet. We call them hermits a lot of times. And we know the hermit mode. We move in and out of hermit mode, especially after towers, and we hate it. We're like, we see it as separation, as being broken up, as being away, but the hermit, the path of a hermit is so important. And some people are just hermits by nature. They live out in the woods. They do this. They may live in modern society, but they keep to themselves. Oh, that's David. He just keeps to himself. He lives up on in that house over there. And you right? But we don't know what's going on in their spirit and the dialogues they're having with themselves, with spirit, with mystery, with the unknown. They're getting closer and closer to whatever it is. So if we look at our lifetimes, a lot of times we take hermit lifetimes. Some people, I read this one place and I was like, oh, brilliant. Some people who may incarnate as deaf in this lifetime, right? Of course, they're still living their life here. Are blind in this lifetime, they're still living their life here and stuff. But in past lifetimes, the horror and the atrocities they may have witnessed, they may have heard, this lifetime, they kind of just need to go into that quiet space. And so, yes, they're breaking down barriers here. Yes, they're living lives with challenges, but there's something that they're tuning out. There's something that they're cutting off from in this lifetime to create that ability to have that quietude. So when you are really trying to go inward and understand and stuff, you realize that sometimes on those journeys you can't necessarily take other people with you. That's why meditation is so important, guys. You just need that quiet time. And when the quickest way to get somebody out of their mind is to disorient them, because when you disorient them, what you're doing is you're creating distractions that keep them away from what it is that they're trying to do. Nightclubs, Vegas, all right? No judges, but you have to ask yourself, if you're caught up in those lifestyles, what is it that you're running from? And I'm not talking about, yeah, let's connect with my buddies today. Yeah, girls trip. You're by that definition agreeing, let's get out, guys. Let's get loose. Let's disconnect from reality, right? So there's a time and place, right? But if you find yourself or the person you're in love with or your kids or your family or you know people who are caught up in that cycle of, up in the clubs all the time and the multiple Tinder dates and the this and that and distraction, capital D, again, not the D we like, right? Capital D, distraction. And you start to look at someone like that and you wonder, quite simply, what are they running from? What are they blocking out? What is it that they're refusing to look at? That's what that is, guys. And it's not, again, this is not because, oh my God, my friend's having their birthday party and they want to go to Vegas. That's different. You know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this is a lifestyle for somebody. That means it's something that they're running from. TV, binge watching, modern day opportunities to disconnect from self. And you don't want to get caught up on those spirals. So you kind of want to make sure that you're always checking in with yourself. All right. So a koi fish spirit is saying that in this realm of possibility, because it's all possible, because it's all mystery. And if we don't know, we know that we know that we don't know. And so therefore everything's possible. He's saying there's always enough. So those of you who are working on manifestation right now, one of the biggest blocks to manifestation is people feeling like, he wants to come in here, is people feeling that if I get more money or get more whatever it is I want to manifest and I'm depriving the world, or hey, I'm seeing this person has that, what about me, what about my needs? All of that is a belief in poverty, and poverty is one of those things that, again, just isn't true. It's just not true. So if you believe in poverty, if you're looking at your life right now and you're saying, I'm poor because I don't have food on my table, because I live in the projects, because I just literally looked at my bank account and I'm in the negatives, because I'm in over hundreds of thousands, over my head and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, because that guy just took my house. Poverty consciousness. Again, seek to understand. If you're getting the message that in the face of all of this 3D poverty, someone is telling you you're not poor, and you're like, you need to prove, how is it that I'm not poor right now when I can't feed my children? Yellow card, invitation to inquiry. Turn it around. You have to ask, if God is saying I'm not poor, but yet I see poverty around me, keywords, I see. But am I really seeing? That's when you open up to Spirit to give you real vision. A Course in Miracles, a great book. Now, I'm going to flip the script, give you an example of flipping the script really quickly and getting a perspective shift. 2 of them. Number 1, somebody says something to you about your weight, right? Oh my God, I think you've gained a little. You should probably, let's try this diet together, whatever. They comment on your weight, and you take that stuff hard. It messes with your mind. But hold on. Let's flip that script. Flip it. Instead of buying into what they said and, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Flip. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Excuse you. That was really rude of you. You know what? I want you to know that my weight is something that is a personal issue for me. And if you're not going to come and talk to me about things that are important, and especially taking a perspective on something that is so personal to me, then we don't need to be connecting and having this conversation. How rude. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, madam. How rude of you. Let's ask about your manners. Were you taught to understand good manners? If you were, then you would understand that in a world like today, that is none of your business how much I weigh. And for you to feel so entitled to tell me that, like you are the one to deliver that message, I think you need to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask yourself about what kind of impact you're having on this world. When you flip the script on them, they're like, oh my God. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. No, we don't care how they're thinking. You didn't think of it that way. You bought into whatever somebody said because you had a vulnerability, core wounding, and you bought into it and you let it take you out of your center completely. And now your life is revolving around weight loss and this and that and that and this. Okay? Example number 2. Let's take a look at the adoption story. Oh my God, this mother put you up. You're thinking about putting your kid up for adoption. Society is often like, oh, what a terrible mother. Oh my God, like really? Like you couldn't find it within your heart to like raise the child? Why did you even have sex in the first place? Why were you at that party that led to you having a child in the first place? Abortion, the third issue. What? You're aborting this child? Like, what? You are a terrible person. You don't deserve to... And it all continues. Wait, hold on. Let's flip the script and take a different perspective. In the case of adoption, instead of like looking at the mother pointing hands, think, oh my God, what kind of mother gives a child up? Instead of, what kind of mother gives a child up? Like, really? Change it. What kind of mother gives a child up? We got to look at what is she facing? What is going on? How could we help her to feel more see the word fear came out? Fear, right? What can we do as a society, as a person, as a community to help somebody feel comfortable in having this child, in knowing that it's okay, in knowing that we can work together, and knowing that sometimes just knowing the sheer love a mother has for a child, to give a child up is not an easy decision. Even if we look at that person and we think, they just gave the kid up because they don't even care. We don't know what's going on under there. We cannot judge. If we take a step back and we take another perspective, we understand. Let's look at the abortion issue. Oh my God, what mother or what person would do that, would harm a child, and it goes down. Instead, take a step back and look at how judgmental you are, and you flip the script and you try to understand, oh my gosh, what is going on in your life? How can we help you? Even if us helping you is just us needing to come to a realization that it is your choice, right? But a lot of times people make choices because they don't have support, they don't have love, because so many people are looking down on them and treating them like they're crap. When the fact is that those other people are choosing to interact with mystery in a very unhealthy way. They don't understand what they're looking at, so they want the thing that they don't understand to make sense to them. No, it is not the burden of proof on that thing to prove to you that they exist and that they are worthy of love and that they are doing the right thing and that they're this and that. That's none of their business. Their only business is to act as they would act of themselves, to be themselves. Oh shoot, where did I see act as if? Oh, chameleon spirit. Listen, chameleon says I need to only act like myself. It's your business to view me in your way. And so these people understand, look at them helping each other. They understand that the judgmental people out there don't know who they are, and they don't know their place and their relationship to mystery. It is not for the mysterious thing or the mystery to prove itself to you. It is for you, in your judgmentalness, to understand what it is that you're looking at. Everything in life is ding, an invitation to inquiry, right? That's just how it is. So those are examples of how we need to flip the script. All right, so it's already 58 minutes. See the timing there. Let's see what's here. What else is here? Oh, my stomach's grumbling. I'm hungry. All right. These three came out together. It's funny because these two cards came out earlier for me when I did my own little check-in reading. Yeah. So I'm seeing here a lot of us feeling like, I don't understand anything. Look at all this time I've spent in this world seeking to understand. Some of us really, really seeking. But in the face of this beautiful butterfly, seeing that butterfly and knowing we know not what we see. The man who knows everything knows that he knows nothing at all. And Spirit is saying, yes, that's true, because you're just in one long cycle of coming around and around. Take a look at this, guys. Holy moles. What if this is what we were actually looking at? What if when we, what if when we finally come to here, this 0 point, what if this shape changes on us, right? I mean, like, I don't even know. There's so many possibilities because we don't know what this looks like. What if, because all this is the intersecting of points, right? What if somewhere in here, somehow, right? What if then we move into something here and what we're looking at ends up looking like this, right? We don't know what it is that we're looking at. This whole side is mystery, and that is left to be understood and explored with different faculties, maybe expanded mindsets. We may, as a different species, be able to use different faculties to come to this. Maybe, you know how they say when we die we become expansive. Maybe we need that to get here. Either way, so long story short, Spirit is saying you are just in a cycle of unknown and working your way towards the next part, right? But in that being, you should have this celebratory feeling. Don't look back on your life like, oh my God, I've just been doing so much, only to realize that there's a chance I just don't know anything, right? I'm seeing now this cute little deer with his little third eye. Aw, he bring a gentle touch, they're saying. Just know that you are where you are, and that's it. If you keep worrying about the future and about where you're going, then you're going to have ideas of, I'm not here where I need to be, I'm not going as fast enough. And the deer spirit knows that the only thing that's real is love. And he is the very definition of love. He exists because he is loved. He's loved because he exists. In that case, there's no past, there's no present, there's no up, down, in, out. It's just him and being loved. And so he knows that all he needs is this cute little third eye to be able to perceive of that love. And that's it. You look at dogs. 1 minute they're hopping around. You look at another dog, he's got 3 legs, but he's hopping around just as much as the 4-legged ones. He's not sitting here thinking, oh my God, I have only 3 legs and it's taking me longer to get up the hill than those other dogs. And he's not thinking those things because he's open to mystery and he knows that he doesn't need a bookend. We are just as we are until we bring something else in and start to look at ourselves in relation to that. Hey, you're all tall. Until something else comes next to you and then you can call yourself taller or shorter, right? So don't compare, just be what you are. And that's that message here that they're saying. You are innocent, they're saying. See how that comes together? You are innocent, they're saying. Have this innocence in mind and spirit, because that's the truth. We're all innocents. We just are. We are, that's it. And any judgments and stuff, any bad feelings come from judgments, and you gotta always ask yourself, what am I judging? Wait, I feel like I need to find a butterfly. Is there a butterfly in here? I haven't even looked at all the cards, but I felt when he looked at this butterfly, he was shocked at how innocent the butterfly is, and the butterfly reminded him that he in his sadness, that like, I've been doing all this and I don't even know what it is I'm looking at, and then blah blah blah. He sees the butterfly, just innocent, small, paper thin, just doing its thing. How does it fly? I don't even understand this. Right? Hold on. And that's why we can, as complicated as people are and they can make things, they come to realize that real things real understanding is just simple. And the simplest, the most profundity can be found in the most simple, right? Look at this. Transformation is beautiful. So as this horse, look at this simple butterfly and focus on its transformation. Focus on your transformation and stop thinking about needing to transform and this and that, and just be. Look at this, 11, right? That's true spirit. You're just being. Now let's look at here. Goddess, discernment, awareness. Ooh, right? They're saying be aware. I love this card. He's so cute. First of all, let's take a look. He's like, hi. Hey, what are you doing? He comes out just in his whole, like, to us, we look at this beautiful unicorn, just majestic. And this unicorn is just enjoying his freedom. He's so in the moment. He's rushing across this river, right? And then as he's rushing across this river, he sees us. And he's like, huh? Hi. And in his innocence and sheer knowing that he has nowhere to be and he doesn't need to think about where he's been, he sees us and he's curious and he wants to come in. Hi. And he comes over and bounds up to us and starts smelling us, starts chatting with us. And we just sometimes don't know what it is that we're looking at, right? And we're so in awe. So we just have to surrender, knowing that all things are possible. And in the unknown, fresh out the unknown can come something that we've never seen before, we've never perceived of before. And in that spirit of knowing how to handle the unknown, we can come to a place of maturity, spiritual maturity, and seeking to understand before pretending to understand by using our ideas, outdated ideas of the past. Right? And so spirit is tacking on an image here to us. They're saying that's why a lot of us on earth have not been exposed to non-human species like extraterrestrials that we would say call extraterrestrials. Some of us are in connection with them already, whether telepathically. Some of us can see them, some of us can sense them, some of us communicate with them already, some of us are receiving from them, but a lot of us have not. They've been locked out of this view. It hasn't been made known to them. And I'm getting this card here. And part of that they're saying is because, of course, it's been held back in many ways. But part of that is they're saying your focus isn't right yet. It's all around you. The unknown is all around you. Extraterrestrials are all around you. Ghosts, spirits, non-physical beings are all around you. But your focus, you're not tuned in yet. And for some of us, maybe some people shouldn't be yet because they don't understand and they're not mature enough spiritually to engage with what would be a great mystery to our minds at this time. You know, what is, if you're really interested in delving into that, ask yourself, why is it that I keep wanting to know so much about these quote unquote extraterrestrials? What am I bringing to their existence? Am I just trying to scratch an itch and am I just coming with all of my ideas from this earth, from this world, from the mainstream media, just to come and contaminate something that's out there and being itself? Or am I coming with more like an ethnologist kind of view, where I'm coming to observe, to understand, right? And in innocence, pure innocence, coming into contact with something that may be just as innocent as me. And just like two dogs coming up to each other, they look at each other, then they start sniffing, they start understanding, they start trying to connect with their barkings and this and that, right? So if one dog comes up and starts being aggressive, there's something going on with that dog. It has nothing to do with the other dog. Well, unless they're both being aggressive and they're just triggering each other. But one dog's coming up, bounding to play, curious, trying to understand. The other dog comes in and something sets it off and they're rah, 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 right? In that moment, we're like, listen, rah, 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 dog, you're not ready for this yet. You need to go and build upon yourself, understand yourself, bring yourself into a responsible and mature place for inquiry about this. And so ask yourself, if I were ever to meet an extraterrestrial, what would I say? How would I be? Maybe you might come to your own realization and realize, maybe I don't need to say anything. Maybe it's none of my business. And that's all there is to it. I don't need them to identify themselves. Maybe we need to more come together and focus on building that house. Focus on co-creating. Focus on coexisting. And you see, if a lot of us on Earth can barely handle simple issues like homosexuality in somebody else, transgender in someone else, things like that. And people are like, you see someone come on who's from the transgender community. They come on a show, and the first thing people want to ask them is, what's it like down there? How's sex? And that's none of your damn business, Why are you so stuck on what I am? It's none of your business. And when you're at a mature level, you realize that it is not our business, that these people these extraterrestrials, in the case of extraterrestrials, they don't even need to explain who they are. They don't need to quell our inquiry. No, that's none of your business. You have to live your life. Let me live mine. Let's focus on the task, co-creation, delving into who we are as spirits and as love and this and that. And if I choose to explore myself, see, the word came out. If I choose to explore myself and involve you in that exploration, then you need to see that as a gift, because that's all there is. Because we know that true exploration of the unknown doesn't require even talking to you about it, right? It's an internal thing. And so there are a lot of messages for us on different levels coming through. Thank you, Spirit. They're saying here, you need to just focus on who you are, being the best you can be as a god or goddess or whatever you'd like to refer to yourself as. And you have to have true discernment. True discernment means knowing who you are and knowing what your boundaries are with other people. Just because someone is different doesn't, and that's all your judgment, by the way, doesn't mean that you have a right to ask about the difference. Doesn't mean that they need to tell you about it. Doesn't mean you have to create stories about it. Because when you stop your journey forward, just like this cute little unicorn who's trotting through, when he stops to investigate us and come up to us, right? What he's doing is, on some level, he's shifting his journey. So how long are you going to stay in this shift with this new thing that's caught your attention, number one? And number two, what kind of new journey are you embarking on with this new thing that is presented itself to you? And are you going to beat it down? Or are you going to let it teach you about itself? Are you going to learn? Like things like that. So really, this comes back to this major issue that you are directing yourself in many ways, guys. You're directing your experience. And these are things you have to be aware of, Spirit is saying. I'm seeing this now, these three, as this spaceship. They're saying if you can understand this needing to just be yourself, your own energy signature, understand who you are, be in your integrity, be the best you can be, and from that place have discernment about what it is that you're getting involved with, and whether and what kind of interactions you should have with mystery. They're saying once you build this kind of awareness, they're saying then you're ready to transcend this earth. Then you're ready to connect with beings not of this earth, however you want to say it. So a lot of you are trying to have these connections with ETs and this and that, and trying to understand the greatest secrets on earth and blah, 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 and go out into the universe and astral project. But they're saying a lot of you may not have this basic thing down. And when you don't have this basic thing down, you could very well create more discord for yourself and for others. Now, let's look at these last cards here. Oh, that's funny because this card, I knew this dragonfly wanted to come in. He was kicking it over here. Truth transcends illusion. God is trying to get us to a greater sense of truth and understanding. That's just, And when we know all there is to know, we know that we know nothing at all. And when we know that we don't know anything at all, just like this deer spirit, we're comfortable with where we are. And this deer can now interact with the butterfly and not have this idea of, I want to be a butterfly, or what is that? And it's more like, hey, Mr. Butterfly, it's like two little kids. They just met each other for the first time. And they're not like, hey, when they're that young, they're just like, hey, want to go play? They don't have this concept that you look different, you look darker, you look this way, they're just like, hey, let's go pray. And they're off running because they're okay with who they are. It's only when they start interacting with other people, parents, who start teaching them these distinctions and they start learning these ways, and then they go to the playgrounds and they're carrying those same distinctions their parents taught them or modeled for them, and then they see other kids and they're like, you're different from me and this and that. And even if you'll notice at that young age, they may still register a difference. They'll be like, hey, how come you have only one arm, right? Things like that. And then they talk it out, then they're done and they're going off playing. That's how we really should be, like this cute little deer spirit. Be gentle in your interaction with the unknown. All right? Now, seeing here, Spirit is telling us that we all have something of value to offer. Because here's this guy having this value, and he's like looking at himself so low. It's like, oh, I got nothing. I got nothing to offer anybody. But that's not true. And that in itself is just like low vibration thinking, because even as I see these cards off to the side, they're vibrating at a lower level than these are. It's like these are insanely high vibration if you can feel them. And you know that because look at the messages coming through. Now, this is guys, before you start wondering, this is not a commentary on the tarot deck and the spirit animal deck and the oracle, the unicorns. This is not saying these 3 cards are that way. No, the role that these meaningless pieces of paper are playing in this reading, November 13th, is they are taking on these energies to teach us a lesson. In another reading, it could be totally flipped. And these ones can bring through the high vibe messages, and these ones will choose to do the low vibe. So please don't get caught in a trap like that already. If you started wondering like, oh my God, should I not use tarot? I need to buy these cards because these are the best cards. It has nothing to do with meaningless slips of paper, some piece of wood that's etched and colored, a piece of cloth that's on a bed. Right? This has nothing to do with those things. It's the energy that is coming through to teach us a lesson that we're interacting with. The lesson that this is teaching us is not to, and it's profound, they're saying it's a profound lesson in and of itself, not to look down on who you are. And it's coming through, like I want to like do this like my hand is moving it, right? It feels like it. But it's coming through to say, do not get down on other people because you don't like the messenger, right? And it comes back to this third party person, like, oh, this third party person, the lowest of the low, spitting, right? Spirit is saying, no, they're teachers. And some of them are your greatest teachers. And they are magnifying that which you need to learn, right? And they're saying just like these slips of paper that we've created are magnifying these lessons that we need to learn. So for us to say, oh my God, these cards are so low vibe, I'm not going to ever use these ones because I need to use, it's just it's still showing premature learning and immaturity in understanding is what they're saying. So you have to just see these as messengers. That's all there is, okay? So this Knight of Pentacles in this After Tarot deck on November 13th, 2019 at 9:51 a.m. Japan time is choosing to show us that we need to value what it is that we are bringing through for other people. Value yourself. Be yourself, right? They're saying from that standpoint, you have a completely different view of the world. Look at how he's like, hanging off, but he's being himself and he's viewing the world from this standpoint. This dog's like, hey man, what are you doing? You shouldn't be under there. You're gonna die. He's like, this is the view I'm supposed to be at. This is the sweetest smelling view ever because it's where I need to be. Notice it's the Fool card, coming back to a state of innocence, 0 point, being gentle in your approach and just being yourself, right? These 2 cards don't even, like, I want to bring them in, but they're not coming in yet. Let me see what it is. Thank you. Thank you. They're saying these 2 cards have no place, the energy they're bringing in, have no place in this reading. It's too high vibration, they're saying. And what are these 2 cards representing? Third party situations. Anger at it. This can just, they're saying respect the journey. This can just reflect any any concept, anything, any conflict that gives you chagrin, heartache, heartbreak, everything in any realm, if it's finances, love, work, right? And this is reflects and this represents, thank you, this represents your reaction to it. Full conflict. Look at him. I'm going to kill because I'm reacting to these arrows and oh, shoot at me, will you? All right, out to you. Notice the 3 and 3. They're going hand in hand. Trigger, response. And this 5 is conflict. All right? They're saying this is so low vibration. And yes, they understand that we dip into that at times along our journey, but we cannot stay there. When you're at this level of viewing things, you can then be relaxed. And they're saying, isn't it a wonder that the most relaxed people that we hold on to, like as our spiritual leaders, you know, Buddha and Gandhi and all these people, and they, yes, in their lifetimes dealt with this very same stuff. But look what they live on for. The most simple of their legacy is simplicity. And if they're philosophers, the philosophers are the ones who are very good, they say, in seeing these real world things and being able to be removed from it in a certain sense. They're tortured, a lot of them, right? Because they're stuck dealing with these reactions and the real world melee. They have to go through all these things before they can have that focus. And that's why a lot of them reach their pinnacle of success and their mental and intellectual success at later stages. So when we think about a philosopher, we all often think of them as some old person with a beard and whatnot, because they've reached a certain place of understanding, and they knew that in order to get through the very detailed, very conflicting reactions and things of life, see how my hands are moving up, that's spirit, they had to go to the macroscopic theme that underlies that overlies it the overarching theme. Oh, all of this, oh, that's love in the shadow. Oh, that's this concept of mystery. Oh, that's justice. And that's why you have these overarching themes, these one-word themes, but as they play out on the earthly plane, it's just so much, right? And so Spirit is leaving us with this. Notice this hand, it's your hand, it's the divine hand. They're asking you and they're reminding you that you are always holding on to something. You are always being something. But what is it that you would like to hold on to? Would you like to hold on to the discord of daily life, or would you like to reach higher and grab the theme, the inquiry, that 0 point? See, it's almost like if you grab this Ace of Wands here that God is trying to give you, if you put down these things these belief patterns and these reactions and melee and all that you already think you know, and if you come into balance, they're saying, come into balance. You'll know when you're coming into balance because you're starting to see friends everywhere. You no longer see enemies everywhere. In the news, you're not seeing an enemy, you're seeing a friend. When you start to see your beloved in a different way, and you start to see sacred partnerships, and when sacred partnerships start to come into your life, when you start to do all of those things, they're saying that's when you start to see balance, the polarity. That's when you can be in balance, but you can sense the male-female within you. You can sense the light and dark. You can feel up and down. You can be theme and detail, both theme and detail at the same time, because you can sense it, and you can shift up and down. You can see a teacher and recognize their vulnerabilities. Things like that. That's discernment, all right? When you come into balance within yourself, aka healing core wounds, you start to make friends, aka you start to forgive the people in your lives who have hurt you. And you start to see real love and connection, aka you could start to build bonds, sacred bonds with people, and really see their sacredity. And you start to have discernment, aka you start to see the two parts of you and how it comes together as a whole. You can see that out in the world as well. You can see the soldier and see his wounding. You can see the persecutor and see how they've been persecuted. All those kinds of things. So they're saying that at any given time, you can see more than one. And you are the hand. You are the hand of God in a sense. What is it that you're choosing to hold on to? And a quick way to see that is look at what's in your world. What do you see populating your physical world? Is it peaceful? Do you have those friends? Do you have those relationships? Are you looking at the news and getting triggered? Are you looking at somebody and, having judgments? All of those things are invitation to inquiry. But to really grasp it, you have to let go of these, whatever it is that you're holding on that's holding you back, and hold on to the Ace of Wands, which is this agreement to go inward. It's an agreement to take the opportunity to move to a higher space of consciousness, okay? Anyway, so guys, they're leaving us with this card very quickly. They're showing this Seven of Cups. This is all about having choices. A lot of us fall because of different choices, fall for different things because of choices. And they're saying a lot of us are even choosing to see extraterrestrials. I'm seeing this here as the devil. They're choosing to see them as these things that want to come over and overtake us, instead of seeing them as beings that are just like us on their own spiritual journeys, some of them expressing in the light, some of them expressing in the shadows, right? But either way, we're all going towards the same thing, which is learning about self. And they're saying start to use your choices to build a foundation for yourself. And this looks like a little bit of a rocket ship now, this whole thing. Build a foundation for yourself that you can get into and finally get off this planet. And when I say get off this planet, I'm not saying, oh, that means we need to all get off this planet because this planet is trash. Not like that, because there's definitely that idea out there. But get off this planet literally in the sense that you are... for some people, the opportunity to advance and leave the planet and go to other systems and whatnot. And if that's you, you know who you are. And talking also to some of us, looking at getting off this planet in the sense of getting out of the realm of mainstream bubble thinking, and then opening ourselves up to connecting and being part of, I want to get rid of that bubble, it's right there, and to connecting to what we would just say is outer space, but really connecting to these consciousnesses that are outside of our planet. And some of whom are actually living and walking amongst us. They know who they are, right? And again, it's none of our business to know who we are. So who they are, yeah. It's also it also signifies just you getting and mastering this part of yourself so that you can open yourself up to getting more information coming in for you, getting into this unknown. And as I did that, I felt a little bit, I'm not getting vertigo right now, obviously, because I would throw down this whole camera and be like, right? But I felt they just gave me just a little bit of a whirring for me to bring that into my awareness and bring it into this message. Oh, I'm seeing this right here too. Authenticity, that message they're saying. I hate to say this, but but they're saying that as we do open up to these higher energies and stuff, there is going to be a recalibration of our energy field and of us. And they're saying not to go into it too much because they don't want you to get afraid of the process, but it might disorient you for a little bit. And for some of us, it can be experienced as vertigo, right? And as other kinds of symptoms, the ascension symptoms. But they're saying that just trust in the process and know that where you're going is going to be something that you're going to be happy about because you're going to be receiving. See how this beautiful unicorn is used to galloping, and now it's come to the end of something, and it's like feels like it's going a little bit like wonky and haywire. Look at his crown is like his horn his corn. Sorry, his horn is like lighting up, and it's like whoa, what's happening? He's initiating. So again, this is tying it into the initiation energy. It's like calibration, and he's trying to orient himself to the new energies here in this atmosphere. And it's like, and then, sorry, I just got a call. And before long, the energy is going to be calibrated. And he's like, oh, it's like smelling a different air altogether. And now I'm feeling very extraterrestrial energies now coming off of this. But guys, you have to know that these extraterrestrial energies are already on Earth. They're already around us. You are the tuner. It's like the radio, right? All of the radio stations are there to be played, but where are you tuning yourself into? See, when you tune yourself into this new energy, you'll realize this is the new Earth. To us, it seems extraterrestrial because we are so focused on being part of the mass consciousness that mainstream media, the Britney Spears, the this and that, and this person said that, and Trump did this, and all of that stuff, and the vaccinating or not vaccinating, GMO, non-GMO, all of that stuff is part of mainstream. Go inward and focus on you so you know how to navigate. Attune yourself first. And I feel that if you're watching my videos, you're in that space of attunement because you're going to be working within this new energetic realm. And they're saying that you'll even come to see things from the old world perspectives. That's all they are, differently. And here I'm seeing a broomstick. I'm seeing this concept of witchcraft now being completely revealed to us in a different way. Because a lot of you are quick to say, I don't mess with that shit and blah, 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 and right? But that's because you are looking at it from one standpoint. And as your standpoint dictates, you're receiving the energy from that perspective. But as you become attuned, you start to look at these quote unquote witchcraft and things like that in a different way. And it's almost like it's going to change, just like this. Just like back in the day, everybody was a witch back in Salem and back in this. And if you actually do your research, you realize that a lot of that quote-unquote witchcraft that these unevolved people coming straight out of like this puritanical society and all that saw, they were just seeing people being unique. They were seeing some people having allergic reactions to the food that they were eating in the area, right? Spirit is saying that's it. They're saying that's it. A lot of this stuff was allergic reactions, coming up with rashes, hives, eating things that were hallucinogenic. They didn't even know about the food in the area. They're saying that. Some people just were nature people. A lot of people today who like to just go bike riding, who like plants, who like things like that, they would be considered witches because they're doing herbs. And some people, all these things. Notice how the concept of witchery, whatever, has changed today from back then. And we can look back then and be like, dude, really? Really? And then not only want to enter into this concept of politics, how people could easily get rid of somebody else in their village by calling them a witch. Oh, how convenient. Columbo needs to come in and be like, one more thing. Your fingerprints are all over this. You wanted to get this person out the way because you wanted their property. You coveted their neighbor, their wife, all sorts of stuff, guys. Listen, I can go into it, but that would take us too much down a path we don't need to go. The point is that Spirit is saying once you start to breathe this new air and attune yourself to energies that are already there, that to us seem extraterrestrial, but when you get into it, you start to realize, oh, this feels more like home to me because it's less BS and it's more authentic. You'll start to look at the things that you used to believe in the past about people, about movements, about whatever, and you'll be like, oh my God, I was wrong. Oops. Right? And you will have received something of sheer value. Look at you, this beautiful horse, fully calibrated. Look at what you received. And look at the partner that you've attracted as well. Okay? So that's a little bit of love there for us. Anyway, and knowledge, love, knowledge, sacred partnerships, information, right? Whatever you want to call it. That's you, right side up, receiving. So thank you, Spirit, so much. We love your narrations, God. You guys bring us into it. You bring us in and out. And I love the way they choose to narrate for us, guys, because they not only start us off on these lower levels by showing us how these things manifest in our daily lives, but they also bring us up to these macroscopic truths, and they bring us up and down. So they give us both perspectives so we can see how as above truly is so below. But sometimes the distortion happens in the below because we are not able to tune into enough to be able to really see the above. So we actually don't really know what the above is. For example, these concepts of twin flames, that's the word that we use, but we don't understand what that is. We don't. Because we're still trying to get our twin flame to commit. That's lower level thinking about a higher level concept that we're only seeing probably midway. So we're using a term and we're using our consciousness, our limited consciousness of love, to look at a binary situation that is beyond anything that we could ever understand, for example. And that's just one thing. I wish they'd come through and talk about twin flames in general, because, dude, I need to know too. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I absolutely love you. Mwah. Thank you so much for being on the call. Again, if you'd like a personal reading, you know where to find me. And if you'd like to donate, you know how to do that as well. And thank you again eternally for those who have donated. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.